We're here tonight at Fuji Speedway, located on the island of Honshu in the region of Chubu. The area is famous for its koshikari rice, which is used in sushi, and its sake, which is drunk by millions across the world. The circuit has been steeped in history, with numerous championships settled at this historic track, thinking back to 1976 and that epic fight between James Hunt and Niki Lauda concluded at this very circuit. Situated just in the background, you might be able to come across it during some of the replay cameras, is Mount Fuji. It's an active volcano, and sure enough we're expecting some explosive action here for tonight for round 6 of the Megane Trophy, sponsored by PowerMax Racing. I'm Jack TM53 Synopsis, I'm your commentator for tonight, and I'm fairly certain that today is going to be absolutely fantastic for racing. It's been 2 weeks since the drivers were last racing on circuit at the Red Bull Ring, and tonight they're back. So a bit of rustiness will no doubt need to be shrugged away where it's possible. We've got a couple of drivers out on circuit during the practice session at the moment, just having a quick scan through a couple of those currently. But like I said earlier, we are at Fuji Speedway, an incredible track. Really is steeped through history. This exact version has been in place since 2005. It was originally built in 1961 and had a number of corners on the circuit that were eventually removed due to a couple of pretty nasty accidents in the late 70s. So that got restructured. We're actually coming down the straight here with Sir Bertus as we head towards Turn 1. Turn 1's called Daichi. That's the first corner name, and the old track actually used to bank past where the Yokohama sign is just in front of us as we come up to it. That actually used to dip down into a very fast 5th, 6th left to right hander, which was a very tricky corner. Obviously nowadays doesn't exist. It's almost like the old Monza banking really. It's just been left there to gain some shrubs would be the best way of saying it. Whilst practice is ongoing here at the moment, we may as well run through the championship standings at the moment, because we do have a particularly interesting qualifying for tonight. The top 4 drivers in the championship will be unable to qualify for tonight's race. They'll be starting from the back of the grid, so it's a good chance for someone who hasn't had pole position this season to get on the front row. So starting off, as we've got in the standings, it's Carterboy 99 who is on 98 points. He's got a 20-point gap ahead of his second place and current main rival KZ2 Haas. Just jumped through there. Settings have been changed. Be getting going shortly. I'm just waiting for the drivers to come through. I'm certain that there we go, now we're off there. Second place in the championship, like I said, was KZ2 Haas. He's on 78 points. I'm just looking to see where he is at the moment. There he is. He's still in the pit lane in the Garage Floor Tile Company car. In third place, last time out's race winner, Zlatan is back. He's on 71 points, 7 behind Haas. And then in fourth place, D Whitehouse 7. Our first championship leader, don't forget, who won at Brands Hatch way back at round 1. He's on 69 points, and he'll be the last of the 4 drivers who won't be able to qualify for tonight's race. But from here on in, everyone else can qualify. So in 5th, we've got Snav, who's on 61 points currently. We'll just skip a little bit further forward to Bertus there. 6th place, we've got Richard P. He's on 46 points, as is Sir Bertus, who perfectly timed going over to the Fuchs driver there. They're on the same points. Sir Bertus, obviously, at the moment, he's looking for a good result tonight. He's got a good chance around this circuit. He scored his best result last time out as well at the Red Bull Ring. He finished 6th. That's his best result of the season, so hopefully he can put on a show for us and see where he ends up at the end of the race. 8th place in the championship, we've got Slow Seamus. He's on 42 points. Jay Coleman is in 9th on 40 points. Kyonko-chan, almost effectively a second home really for Kyonko-chan. He's the first driver out on circuit. He's on 37 points, joint with 1805. He rounds out the top 10 in the drivers' standings as he runs exceptionally wide through, and he's actually gone into the wall. So we'll go through towards Slow Seamus and we'll follow him on this opening lap. We won't go through the onboard lap just yet. Like I said, 18.05 is 11th on 37 points. Danzo is in 12th position on 29. Shadow Stalker is on 25 points, and Kyonko-chan has left the room, so I hope he hasn't got any technical issues at the moment. 14th is Greener Army. He's back after missing last week's race, or rather last time out's race. It was 2 weeks ago on the grid. Bit of lag going on there as they go through turn 1. And lastly, not racing tonight is DMK80. He normally drives the Sales I car. He didn't race last week at Red Bull either. Reason being is that he's still keeping an eye on his 2 newborn kids who going through some tough times at the moment. We wish him all the best at NXTGEN, and we sincerely hope he'll be back with us as soon as his kids are absolutely safe and healthy. So that is the championship standings as it plays out. Now, we are at Fuji Speedway. It is a wonderful circuit, but you may have noticed as we come into turn 10 on the corner going into Dunlop Corner, we're actually missing the little chicane out. We're on the short variant. Admittedly, it seems a bit strange calling it the short variant, but it is quicker, you know, not having to go through the little chicane there, a little awkward corner, as Seamus has gone right off the circuit in the works car. Greener Army then is going to be the first driver of the session to set a lap time, as we just watch him come round the corner. Shadow Stalker's there in second on circuit as it stands. It's got Bertus behind him, he's got a 0.8 of a penalty. There's Richard P in the Master Vault car. He's going to be hoping for better, is Richard. Definitely going to be hoping for better. He was 7th last time out at the Red Bull Ring. He was very close to securing a top 5 result, but it didn't happen in the end. So he'll be hoping to try and get some good points and take advantage of the effectively top 4 championship reverse grid. And he's gone currently provisionally fastest. So good start for him. It'll be interesting to see how he gets on. Kyonko-chan has rejoined the room, so I'm hoping, and we're all hoping, that he'll be able to race in the Zerko Tech car and he doesn't have any further problems. Richard's going 3/10 quicker already, which is positive news for him. I said earlier that Kyonko-chan, this is almost effectively his second home. And the reason why I say that is because of the name he's got, Kyonko-chan. For those that are unaware, Chan, effectively the dash that's on the second half of his name, is actually a Japanese honorific. It stands for a formal, really, a sort of formal approach towards a co-worker or a boss, effectively. So Kyonko-chan is effectively someone's boss, to say that much. It's a little bit of info for you if you didn't know that one, but now you know. We watch Snav coming into the turn 1, going into Daichi at the moment. So let's gonna go on board with a driver. Bertus is just moving out the way of everyone, getting rid of his penalty. As it stands, Danzo currently in third. That's a good showing. He was really unlucky last time at Red Bull Ring. He was really on the pace and then spun off effectively with 2 corners left, or 2 laps to go, and he ends up finishing 11th. So hopefully better for him this time. We will go on board. Who haven't we not been on board with this season? We haven't been on board with Shadow Stalker in the Geisen car, so we'll go on board with him. We'll sit in... There we go. We will sit on board with him as Kyonko-chan says he disconnected. Here we go then, in towards Daichi for turn 1. Shadow Stalker on the brakes at the 100-metre marker, gets it down into second gear. Nice corner from him. He's hit the apex while he's gone over the curb slightly. Should get away with it through turn 2. As we head towards now Coca-Cola curve, which is this left-hander coming up. I imagine Shadow Stalker will take it in 4th, which he does. A little bit of opposite lock as he goes through and approaches 100R. A very tricky right-hander, effectively sat in 4th and 5th gear. A lot of upshifting and downshifting will be going on through here, and that's what Shadow Stalker's done. Gets it right though, comes into the hairpin, as it's literally formerly known as. Goes into second gear as we see Dread sponsored car of Greener Army go off there. He must have cut the curb somewhere. Comes through turns 7, 8 and 9. This is 300R, this little right-hander, as we approach Dunlop curve. Normally we'd be slamming on the brakes hard, but we're not. We're down into 4th, maybe. No, we stayed in 4th for Shadow Stalker. Goes into 4th gear for that corner, missing out the chicane. Then into 3rd, he's run very wide through the corner. and he will have lost a little bit of time, will Shadowstalker, as he approaches the next corner known as Nets. Second gear, very difficult left-hander that, trying to brake uphill, and it's also blind as they finally approaches Panasonic corner. It's took an inside line rather than taking the outside line. There are 2 or 3 lines you can take through that final corner, but Shadowstalker's got round that lap. Let's see what his lap time is in relation to everybody else. He's currently 3.4 off the pace, and he's still 3.4 off the pace. He was a tenth, effectively a tenth slower. So Shadowstalker in 6th at the moment, which isn't too bad for him. Green Army's there in 7th, got Zlatan, he's in 8th, he's going around doing some practice times. For those that are wondering, Zlatan is one of those drivers that can't set an official time, so he will be starting from 2nd to last. Kyonko-chan's got himself out in the Zerkotech car. That would be good for all his Japanese fans as he goes off at Net's corner. Probably won't want to be doing that again. He actually scored his best result last time out. Did Kyonko-chan, he was 8th, matching his best result at Brands Hatch. So he'll be hoping he can do a little bit better today, maybe get a top 6. We'll see how it pans out for him. Danzo still in the pits. We've only got a few moments to go in this session, effectively time for maybe 1, maybe 2 laps left. Richard P currently has pole position as it stands. He's gone a little bit wide there, and he's actually moved out of the way of the works car so that he doesn't get in the way of his lap. So that's a good move from him. And Subertus is there. It's a bit of a show going on through Net's corner and Panasonic between the 3 drivers trying to get some room. Coleman's in 2nd. This is a good showing from Coleman. He hasn't qualified on the front row since Maggiore, which was another top 4 reverse grid, so he'll be hoping for some good points in the 3M car. Snav's 3rd. As it stands, looks like he's setting a even better lap than he was on previously. Seamus is 4th. He's got slipstream from Bertus. This will be their final lap as they go on to it. Kyonko-chan, he's got himself into 6th on a 141. That was his opening lap. As I say that though, Greener Army's just moved up to 6th place. Good effort from the Dread driver. He missed last time because of a few different issues at home. He had a few things he needed to sort out as he goes off and into the pit lane. So that's his qualifying over. Shadowstalker's there. Let's move a little bit further forward, try and see who could potentially get another lap out of this. Is Kyonko-chan going to make it? Because this could be his one and only lap, or rather second lap. Snav should make it with no problems. He's got 15 seconds. Greener Arm is in the pit, so he'll be starting the session at that 10-minute point. Will Snav get across the line? Yes, he does. He gets across the line, no problem. He goes faster again. Where's Kyonko-chan? He's coming towards the line now. Is Greener Army going to press the qualifying time? No. So he gets another lap in, does Kyonko-chan. Good news for him. What about everyone else then? Where are we in terms of positions? You've got Shadowstalker and then Works car sponsored driver there of Slow Seamus. Moving a little bit further forward, there's Snap, there's Coleman, Richard P. He's got Bertus ahead of him. Where is Bertus at the moment? Now that's qualifying finish according to Greener Army. Is this effectively it? Will we move into the race session? Just watch Bertus come across the line. He goes faster, does Bertus. Doesn't move any higher. What about Richard P? Doesn't improve either. He's a little bit slower on that lap. Snav's still on a lap as well. It doesn't look like anyone's going to go any quicker. And I think, as it stands, Richard P is going to be our pole position man, unless Coleman's anywhere near to setting a lap. No, he's pulled over and gone into the... Well, he was going to go into the pits, I thought, but he's decided otherwise. So that is your pole position man then. Richard P, 3310, fairly certain that was an old Nokia, has got pole. This is a great turn of fortune for Richard. He's been he's been decent all season, has Richard. He's finished in the top 10 throughout the season in all the races, but he's not quite been able to get up to that top 3 potential podium fighting spots. But for tonight's race, got a bit of lag in the lobby. Hopefully that'll sort itself out as we go along. I know there are some issues in lobby 1 currently. A congrats there from Haas to Richard P. It'd be interesting to see how the other 4 drivers who are starting from the back get on later on. But that is your pole position driver of Richard P. We just wait for the drivers to come through. One driver who's also not here tonight is 1805. 1805, who finished 4th last time out at the Red Bull Ring. He's not able to make it tonight, so an absentee in that one. But we're just waiting now for the effective go session for the race. That's what we're waiting on for the time being. There's a bit of weaving, a bit of donutting going on on track at the moment. Just trying to look to see who that is coming out of the next corner. Ah, it's Seamus. Seamus, the only Irish driver on the grid this season in the works car, doing some good donuts there. I'm making sure he's doing it in a safe and reasonable manner. Not that you can do donuts in that way, but hey ho, he's going to try it anyway, which is good for him. Here comes Snav. Snav is the highest placed driver in the championship who's not part of the reverse grid. He's 5th currently. He's only 8 points behind D Whitehouse, so he's starting 3rd on the grid. Be interesting to see how he gets on through this race. We're all just waiting now for the session to start. A live pit stop there for Coleman. Not that he's going to need it during qualifying, but hey ho, he's got to switch the tyres on. Danzo was able to qualify 6th in the end in the 10 Tools car. That's a good result for him, actually. That's his best qualifying of this season. Even when we were at Maggiore at round 3, he only qualified 8th, so that's a really good effort for him. I'm sure he'll be happy with that. 7th is Kyonko-chan in front of his almost home fans, we'd like to call them. Shadowstalker's there in 8th place. That's a good effort from him. He got his first top 10 last time out at Red Bull Ring, so good to see from himself. Greener Army, the last of the qualifiers there, was able to be, I think he was 2.7 off Shadowstalker. And here we go then for the race. Little bit of time taken, but we got there in the end. Greener Army sorted the grid out. Let's see how we get on. We've got Coleman on the right there on 2nd place in the 3M car. He's on the left. Richard P on the right hand side in the Masterbolt car. He's 1st and your pole position. 20 minutes on the right hand side. Here come the numbers. And the race is live here at Fuji Speedway. Richard P's not got off the line at all. He's gone all the way down. He's been hit from behind. I'm not certain what's happened there. Richard P's not got away, but Coleman has taken the lead. He is in the lead going into turn 1, but Snav's challenging him on the inside. He's got Slow Seamus on the outside of him. Snav has got the lead as it stands. As they come towards now Coca-Cola corner for the first time. Snav has taken the lead from 3rd place on the grid. Coleman's 2nd, but he's got Seamus on the inside of him. Seamus looking to do the move through Coca-Cola. He's done that as well. Coleman's got to be careful because he's got Bertus behind him. Zlatan, his back's had a fantastic start. He's up to 6th, as has Carter Boy and Haas. As we go now through towards turn number 6, which is the hairpin, Snav has got the lead. Seamus is 2nd. Bertus is trying to go up the inside, and he has got up the inside of Jay Coleman. He's gone wide. I'm thinking that's lag, and it is. Coleman is 4th. There's Danzo. He's in 5th, trying to challenge Coleman. It's not been the best of starts for him. Speaking of not the best of starts, I'm not sure what happened to Richard P, but his advantage has completely disappeared. Coleman has gone wide. I think he's hit Bertus as well as they've gone off. That's going to give Danzo an opportunity to challenge for 4th. He's up the inside of Coleman. So, oh, there's contact between Kyonko-chan and Carter Boy, and Haas is all over the curb too. Grid wrong according to D Whitehouse. So, not sure what has happened there. That's Kyonko-chan, I think, has gone flying off at next corner. Shadowstalker's Coleman's gone round. Didn't see what happened to him, but Coleman has dropped like a stone, and he's all the way down in 11th place. Greener Army has pulled over to the side of the road, so I suspect that we might be having a restart. We won't know for certain until we get the information, but Snav currently leads. He's got 6 tenths to Seamus behind him in 2nd place. Bertus is in 3rd. D. Whitehouse is calling for a restart. 4th is Carter Boy, great start from him. Danzo is 5th, Zlatan's 6th, but he's got Haas up the inside of him. Haas goes to the inside, looks like that's move done, and it is done. Haas takes 6th place from Zlatan. Kyonko-chan is in 8th, Shadowstalker's in 9th, just behind him. Kyonko-chan's gone on the curb, he's on the grass. Is that going to give Shadowstalker an opportunity? It is. Haas is making a move as well on Danzo. He's up the inside and that's job done. Greener Army is calling for the restart. So, drivers will be no doubt slowing down. That is how it's going to happen for the time being. I'm not sure what happened to the grid at the start. It will give Richard P a chance to take his pole position back and not drop like a stone. I'm not sure what happened to him. Snav will be a bit annoyed because he'd got himself a good gap, but he's going to have to do it all again now. Let's see how this plans out. So, Greener Army will be setting up the lobby then for a restart. So, we will wait for the time being. And second time this season we've had some issues with the green. Or rather with the grid. Not sure why I said green, I'll be honest with you. Greener Army resetting the grid, that's where that'll have come from. So, restart once more. I'm just looking in another chat at the moment that's not visible on GT Sport. And there's Snav now, just slowing down. I'm sure everyone will be returning to the lobby for the time being. Haas saying no, because he did have a good start, did Haas? He was up to 6th. But this will be restarted. There's Zlatan now. He needs to come back into the pits, as does Kyonko-chan, who has just done that. So it's just the Adrian Flux driver now we are waiting on to return to the grid. There we go. We're all now back into the pit lane, and we will wait for the second time of asking to get the grid set up and ready. So here we are then, just waiting for the time being. It seemed to be just one of the drivers was out of position on, so it's been called again. This gives, like I said before, this gives Richard P a chance to not have the start that he had. Would love to know what actually happened to Richard P. I'll try and find out for everyone before we go into the next phase. Seamus and Snav there saying they had a nice lead. They did have a good lead. The pair of them were in front. They had about a second and a half, I believe, to the cars in third and fourth. So we're just waiting currently. A couple of drivers just coming out of the pit lane just to prevent an ABS bug that comes out. We'll just wait and see what happens. So here we go then, the final's been restarted. And hopefully now the drivers will be in the correct positions that they need to be in. As we wait for round 6 to recommence, the second time of asking. And it looks like to me we've got the positions all in order, which we have done. So, take 2, 20 minutes on the right hand side, as is Richard P in the Master Vault car, as is Jay Coleman. Here come the numbers. And the race is live here at Fuji Speedway. This time Richard P gets off the line well. He's got Coleman still on the inside of them as they approach turn 1. Snav's in 3rd. Slow Seamus is 4th, making a few movements in the works car. Richard P's got challenge from Coleman, who's been hit from the back from Snav. Coleman's got the lead. Richard P's gone way out on the grass. He's all the way down to 5th, maybe even 6th. Coleman's got the lead. Snav's 2nd. Bertus is 3rd. There's Seamus in 4th. Danzo is in 5th. I'm going to back slightly out of this and then come straight back in so that we can see the spectators' cameras properly. We'll skip right the way forward. Snav currently having to defend from Sir Bertus and Seamus, the pair of them. That's Bertus going very over the curbs there. Bertus getting very squirrely under the X's. I think there was contact between him and Seamus. There's Danzo in 5th. Haas has got himself up to 6th. That's a great start for him. Let's switch over and make sure we've got all the cameras available, which we have done now. That's great. So Seamus is there in 3rd. You've got Danzo trying to defend from not just Haas but Bertus. Haas has got through up into 5th. Now he's been re-overtaken by the Fuchs driver. Kyonko-chan looking for an absolutely huge dive bomb up the inside. He's got up to 4th. That's an impressive overtake. He's got a 1.5 second penalty though. Don't know if he went over the curb. He's gone wide though at next corner rather, and he's down into... Oh, he's just rejoined. Now he's taking the penalty. He's ghosted a little bit. Coleman currently has the lead, but he's got Snav trying to battle alongside them as they go down this huge 1.5 kilometre straight for the end of the first lap. Snav there just alongside him in 2nd. Has he got enough of the slipstream to go past him, which he is doing? He's alongside. Seamus watching this from about a 1.5 seconds back. These two have got a great start. Snav still alongside as they approach turn 1, which is known as Daichi. Is he going to make a lunge in the Power Products car? Yes, he is. He takes the lead from Coleman. There's Seamus. Oh, there's contact for Seamus and Bertus. I'm not certain what happened there. Is Seamus going to... That's Bertus going off the circuit. We didn't quite see it. Coleman's gone into 2nd behind Snav. Seamus, fortunately, hasn't lost any positions from that move. That's good news for him. He's still on for a podium as it stands. Dando's 4th. Kyonko-chan's 5th. Zlatan's got himself up to 6th. That's good news for the Adrian Flux driver. Bertus has apologised for that. Haas is in 7th now with Richard P in 8th. Shadowstalker's 9th. Carter Boy's in 10th. Hasn't made the moves and the progress we thought he would have made, but he's now looking to try and go up the inside of Shadowstalker. Not quite close enough. There's Bertus in 11th after all the incidents. Green Army's 12th and D Whitehouse is 13th. He's gapped from the rest of the drivers, so I'm not sure if he's been involved in an incident somewhere. We'll cut back into the midfield though, because there's a huge fight, or rather a huge train behind Slow Seamus. Kyonko-chan's got Zlatan all over the back of them as they go into next corner. Kyonko-chan taking the inside line. He's defending it as best as he can. He'll be on the outside. Zlatan's looking for a move at the inside. I don't think there's any room for him, and there isn't. As we now cut on board with, let's go with Zlatan, who's right behind this current train of cars. We've got Haas there in 7th. There's Richard P down to 8th place. Just got caught up in that turn 1 incident. Wasn't anything to do with his fault, and that's dropped him like a stone. Here comes Zlatan on the back of Kyonko-chan as they go towards turn 1. Zlatan's got the inside. Should be relatively clear-cut move this, providing he gets on the brakes at the right time. No, Kyonko-chan outbrakes him. There's contact even between the cars. Not certain who or what hit them. And that's Danzo. He's been turned round, and that's Kyonko-chan in the wall. They're both gone round. It's a disaster for the pair. Oh, that's really unfortunate. It's going to drop Danzo, I think, right the way down to 12th. Oh, 13th even. He's not going to be pleased with that. It looked like there was contact from a car behind. I'm not certain what caused it, but that has turned Danzo's race upside down. He was running so well in 4th. Such a shame for him. It's promoted Haas up to 5th though, and Zlatan to 4th. Carter Boy's 6th now. Took him a little bit of time to catch up onto lap 3, but he's there on the back of his closest rival in the championship of Haas. Richard P just behind these two. He'll do well to keep on to the back of these as Haas runs slightly wide through Dunlop corner. Does it present a chance for Carter? It does. There's a lot of lag going on with Carter Boy's car, but he's got the move done and he's up to 5th. I wonder if there was a bit of lag involved in that accident earlier on between Danzo and Kyonko-chan. That seemed like an odd incident earlier. Seamus, though, has got himself onto the back of Coleman, who is looking to potentially secure his first podium of the season. Is Coleman. He'll be very chuffed if he can hold on to it. We've still got 15 minutes to go, though, so there's a lot of time left. Coleman second, Seamus is third. Meanwhile, Snav is off and up the road. He's got a 3.5 second gap. Could be on for his first win of the season. And that's Coleman, who's being challenged up the inside by Seamus. I think that's a done deal. And he's up the inside as Seamus. He's got second place. Zlatan's trying to make a move, but I think he just tagged the back of the 3M driver. And he loses a little bit of momentum. He's gone into 4th and stays there for now. Carter Boy's in 5th. Haas having to defend. This is a great switchback from Richard P, but he doesn't quite pull the move off. And if it's GT Sport penalty limits are on, then that's going to cause a few issues for Richard P on the track limits. We've already seen them. I'd be surprised if he didn't get one for that. Kyonko-chan's there in 8th. D. Whitehouse now making his moves up through the field from the back of the grid. He's in 9th. Shadowstalker's got Bertus on the inside of him. Shadowstalker running in the top 10 again. A really good performance from him so far. If he can hold that, I'd be very happy, I'm certain. Bertus is 11th. Greener Army goes wide at the hairpin. He's in 12th. Danzo's all the way down in 13th. Such a shame for him. Really was an unfortunate victim of that. As Carter Boy goes up the inside as Zlatan is back into turn number 11. Move done. Easy enough for Carter Boy. He's scything his way through the field. Bit of contact, though, between the two drivers. And Zlatan makes sure he stays behind. But look who's behind them. It's Haas. Second place in the championship, the quietest driver on the grid, as I like to call him in the garage floor tile company car. Carter Boy's gone wide though. That's going to promote an opportunity for Zlatan, but Carter Boy will have the slipstream of Coleman, who will have the slipstream of Seamus. Let's see how this one pans out as they head towards Daichi for the 5th time. Here we go then. Carter Boy still in front. I don't think Zlatan. Is he going to look for a move? No, Carter Boy defends well and keeps him behind. But he's run deep, very deep for Carter Boy. That's going to give him opportunity. I think Coleman's made a mistake as well. And Coleman's dropped right the way down. He's down to 5th place. Looks like he had a big problem there. He's dropped right to 6th as well. So that's put Zlatan up to 2nd. Haas looking for the inside, going through Coca-Cola corner. He's got the move done. And Carter Boy, because he went wide, has to slot back inside. 4th place. Seamus has left the room. That is a surprise because Seamus was running in 2nd place, so I'm not certain what happened there. Wonder if there was contact between Coleman and slow Seamus. That's such a shame, but the race continues on, and this is the battle for 2nd place currently. These three are going to have to try and work together here because there's 6.2 off Snav, who's been able to pull a big gap out as Haas goes very, very wide. Tries to look at a move into turn 11. Don't think that's going to happen through there. Carter Boy getting a little bit squirrely on exit, but he holds on to the car. He's in 4th still. Richard P's there in 5th place. D. Whitehouse currently fastest man in terms of lap time, 1:37.3. That's well quicker than the pole position time from Richard P. He's in 6th. Bertus is in 7th. There's Coleman now down in 8th place. He was very slow coming out of turn 1. I'm wondering what happened in that incident between himself and potentially slow Seamus. Shadowstalker's there in 9th. He's inside the top 10, on for his best result as it stands. Kyonko-chan down in 10th after his earlier incident with Danzo. Greener Army's between those two at the moment. Running well as Greener Army at the minute. His lap times are looking relatively decent compared to Shadowstalker's as we cut back to this fight for 2nd place. It's a 3-car fight at the moment, but Zlatan's got almost a second out to Haas as it stands. As Haas runs wide through Coca-Cola, that's going to give him pressure from Carter Boy through 100R. I don't think Carter Boy is going to be quite able to get him through this corner. He might try and set the move up for the hairpin though. Haas has to go to the inside, a little bit of a movement, but no problem at all. Carter Boy looking to try and get a good exit. Not going to happen through there currently, but he's got a good run though, actually. Is he going to try and switch it up to the inside? Not quite. Haas doing brilliant defensive driving, holding on to that final podium spot. and Carter Boy in the fast car slots back in behind. There's Richard P, still 5th and relatively close to the cars in front. There's D Whitehouse. After what happened earlier on in the race, which we're not certain of, he's now starting to get his way back onto the pack. He's got 10 minutes to try and catch up to his main rivals in the championship, and he also has to try and get rid of that penalty too. Meanwhile, Zlatan is now starting to pull the gap down to Snav, who has got a 5-second lead. Let's look at their lap times as they cross the line. Snav consistently in the 38. He made a mistake that last lap though. He did a 40.7. What was Zlatan's time? He did a 37.8, so 2.34 seconds taken out of him there. Big chance for Zlatan if he can keep up the pace that he needs to do. Carter Boy's got in front of Haas down the straight. Just saw the end of that. Haas is in 4th as it stands. Carter Boy up into 3rd. This driver, in terms of Carter Boy, has been absolutely excellent all season. He's not finished off the podium once this season, and at the moment he's going to continue that run. What can he do now in terms of dealing with Zlatan, who's further forward? Richard P still hanging on to the back of these guys, but D Whitehouse is the one he's got to watch out for, because D Whitehouse did a 37.4 that last time out. He's definitely the fastest driver on circuit at the moment, as Richard P goes wide again through the turn 6 hairpin. Got to be careful he doesn't pick up any penalties for that, Richard, but it's a really good showing so far. Despite the incidents earlier on in the race, he's running in 5th, and he will be happy if he can stay competitive and within the top, well, I'd say the top 10-15 seconds of the drivers in front. He's doing well at the moment, that's definitely a fact. Bertus is there in 7th. He's now got Coleman clawing his way back to him. The gap's about a second currently. Shadow Stalker's still 9th, and he's setting some decent lap times as Shadow Stalker. He's in the 1 minute 40s, could get into the 39s. I'm certain he will do, but this is a good showing from the Geissen driver. He'll be really happy if he can just keep his focus for the next 8 and a bit minutes. Kyonko Chan there, just in 10th place. There's Danzo, having to try and recover now. It's effectively damage limitation for him. He's going to be really disappointed with what happened earlier on in the race, because he was running very well. Zlatan's gone very deep, and Carter's already gone past him. So Zlatan makes the mistake. He didn't need to make that at all. He was doing well. He was at a good gap to Carter Boy. But now, the championship leader is going to be taking even more points out of him. And I suspect, at the end of this race, if it finishes as it stands, Carter Boy will have a full race victory margin ahead of his closest rivals if it stays like this. The gap is coming down to the front. Snav has got 4 seconds to Carter Boy. He did a 38.8 that last lap, so he's back into the 38s, which is good for him. But he needs to keep up his consistency, the Power Products driver, if he wants to pull any points back in the championship race between himself and D Whitehouse, who has now got past Richard P, the Master Vault driver there. He's now down to 6th. He'll do well to keep up with D Whitehouse now, will Richard. D Whitehouse is definitely setting some very fast times. He's actually at the same pace as Carter. So I suspect this race will come back together towards the end as the gap starts to close to the front. Gap's now 3.4. So Carter is absolutely scything time out of Snav. Snav must be thinking he'll have to start thinking about potentially defending for this race victory if he wants this. There he goes again. He did a 37.4 last time out, did Carter, compared to a 38.8. He's took 1.6. If he keeps this up, he'll be on the back of Snav in 2 laps. But he's got to be careful, because Zlatan is all over the back of him in the Adrian Flux car. Haas is hovering around in 4th. He's just staying where he is for the time being. If these two start fighting, which is not what Carter Boy's going to want, then it's going to be very problematic for them in trying to catch Snav. It looks like, though, Carter Boy's managed to get a little bit of a gap back to Zlatan. It looks like about 6/10, half a second now as it stands. So let's see how this progresses. It's down to 2.6. I said it'd be 2 laps, but at this rate, Carter Boy's absolutely flying, and Zlatan's made another mistake. So this could be a two-car shootout with about 5 minutes to go. What is Snav doing in terms of lap times at the moment? Still in, he's on the 38. I want to see what his sector times are like, but I don't think we can do that unless we go into timings, and that would ruin the race, so we're not going to do that. There's Haas. He's waiting in 4th. D. Whitehouse is still 5th currently. He did a 38A that last time. I suspect that was to do with trying to overtake Richard P in 6th there. Bertus has still got Coleman all over the back of him. So let's hope that these two will start fighting. As soon as Bertus gets very, very squirrely on exit, that's going to present the opportunity for Coleman. Is he up the inside? He is. What is the exit like for the driver? Not quite there, but he's going to have the slipstream all the way down the 1.5 kilometre straight. Bertus going defensive already down the straight. He's going to have to pick a side, and he does. He goes to the left-hand side as we approach turn 1, going into Daiichi. Coleman on the inside will switch back to the exterior camera. It should be pretty much move done for Coleman. Bertus is trying to hang it round the outside. Don't know if he's alongside. He's still alongside. Is Coleman? No, he's not. Bertus has managed to get back alongside him thanks to the good exit from the corner, and Bertus keeps the place. Good driving for turn 2, but he's gone wide through Coca-Cola. He's going to have to be careful rejoining. I think Coleman, though, was wary of that himself and has moved it back into behind him. Is there any chance of a move going into the hairpin? I don't think so. He's gone very wide, Coleman. He's got to be careful on the curbs there. Kyonko-chan up to 9th now in front of his second home crowd. He's there in 9th. Shadowstalker still inside the top 10. This would be a great result for him with 4 minutes to go. Snav, though, has a 1.2 second gap with, I'd say, I think it's going to be 2 laps potentially left of this race. We'll see as they cross the line. Ooh, it's going to be very close. I think it might be 2 laps for Snav to try and defend from Carter Boy, who's driven excellently once again. The standout driver of the league this season is Carter Boy. Let's see as he crosses the line. It's another 38.2. Carter Boy does a 37 flat. It's a phenomenal time. He's got within half a second now. Carter Boy even looking to the inside. Snav thinking about going defensive. He has done, and keeps hold of first place for the time being. Carter Boy getting on the exit. You could tell he really wants to get this race victory, does Carter Boy. He hasn't won since Sardinia, which was only 2 rounds ago, but must seem like a long time for Carter Boy because he desperately wants another race win. Zlatan's still there in the background. He's 3rd. Haas, though, has got the company of D. Whitehouse 7 right with him now. Haas looking to go. D. Whitehouse tries to look to the outside, can't quite make that move. That would have been incredible if he pulled that off through 100R. D. Whitehouse, is he going to look for the switchback? He is going to look for the switchback. He's going to be on the outside for Dunlop Corner. If he's still alongside Haas, I don't think he is. No, but he switches back. Haas is smart to it, though. Defends the inside as they go now into the 4th gear right-hander. Clips the curb well, does D. Whitehouse. That's going to force Haas to the inside. Going through turn 11. Let's see, D. Whitehouse is looking to try and go round the out. I don't think he's going to get round the outside of Net's corner. He's still there, though. Goes on the curb. There's Richard P, who's decided now he wants to take part in all of this. Richard P, our pole position, man. D. Whitehouse, though, switches back up the inside. This time he gets the move done. Lovely move from D. Whitehouse. He's up the inside. Haas is going to have to be wary because Richard P's alongside him. I don't think he's going to get past, though. Bit of contact. Haas has to be careful there. Richard P was alongside him. I know he was looking for the slipstream, but that wasn't right. So we cut back now just to the front because Snav is having to defend big style from Carter Boy, but Carter Boy looks like he's up the inside. Is it moved done? He's gone too deep on the brakes. There's a lag all over the place, so I can't tell you exactly where they are. Snav's on the inside. Now he's on the outside for Coca-Cola Corner. It's going to be last of the late breakers here as they go into turn number 3. Carter Boy gets the move done. He's up the inside. He's into 1st. We still have time for 1 more lap after this. Snav is 2nd. Zlatan now closes the gap up. He's into 3rd. Snav, though, still looking all over the back of Carter Boy. He's going to have to push now to a point where he's not got to before because he's in the 38s. But Carter Boy's in the 37s. He's going to have to now try and hold on to him as they go down the main straight for what will be the final time in a few seconds. D. Whitehouse is up to 4th at the moment. He managed to fend off Haas and Richard P. So 2 battles going on for 1st and then the other one for 4th currently. Bertus has still got Coleman behind him as it stands, and these two have been fighting all the way through the race, the Fuchs and the 3M drivers. Coleman looking to the inside, don't think he's quite going to make it, and he doesn't. He's going to have to stay behind him. We will cut, though, right to the front three. This is the fight now, going on to the final lap. These guys will make it for one more lap. Is Snav going to try and move? He's very far back as it stands. Slipstream will pull him closer. I don't think he's close enough, but we've seen stranger things before in this league. Is he looking? He has a little look. He does. He goes very late on the brakes. Snav goes up the inside. He's very deep into the corner, though. And he gets re-overtaken by Carterboy. Looked like a very bit of odd lag going on there. Now Snav's going to have to be careful because he's got Adrian Flux driver sponsored. Zlatan is back behind him. Coleman and Bertus have seen a checkered flag. There's all chaos going on for 4th place, but Zlatan has got past Snav. He's up to 2nd. Is Zlatan. Great result as it stands for him. Snav, though, I can completely understand why he tried the move, but that was always going to be a risk. And he's down to 3rd. Still not over this race. Haas has got past D. Whitehouse and Richard P, who are absolutely scrapping like crazy for 3rd. Let's see what else happens in these next few corners. We've got Snav still there in 3rd. Haas is looking and trying to defend from D. Whitehouse. Will cut back forward. There's only 4.5 tenths in this as they come towards the final couple of corners now. Zlatan, he's gone on the curb. He's on the curb. He's spun. And that caused an accident between Zlatan and Snav. A disaster that will end the effectively chances for the race victory for the pair of them. Carterboy 99 though. The fast car has done it again. The fast driver has taken that position. Meanwhile, there's absolute chaos going on for 4th. I think, though, D. Whitehouse has got it. Carterboy takes the race win. What a result from the back of the grid. Zlatan is back, takes 2nd. Snav, unfortunate in the end, but he gets his podium. D. Whitehouse just fends off Richard P. And Haas is 6th. Coleman saw the checkered flag earlier with 7th. Berta safe. Kyonko-chan 9th. Shadowstalker 10th, but what a final 2-3 laps that was. And your race winner is Carterboy from the back of the grid. What a great result. He takes fastest lap as well. Wow, what a brilliant race that was. Brilliant result for him. Great victory. That extends his lead in the championship now to probably around 29-30 points, which is a huge gap with 4 rounds to go. Good result for Zlatan, getting himself up to 2nd on that final lap. Another podium for Snav. It might not be the race win, but it's his 2nd podium of the season, so I'm sure he will be somewhat pleased with that. D. Whitehouse on his great recovery drive, it has to be said. He was even further behind than the race winner in the end as of lap 1. He took 4th. Good drive from him. 5th place went to Richard P. Unfortunate what happened to him during the turn 1 incident on lap 1, but he fought back well and he got 5th. He should be well chuffed with that. Shadowstalker's inside the top 10 again. He'll be very happy with that, as was Kyonko-chan in front of his 2nd home fans. But in any case, that is it for this week's race at NXTGEN in the Megane Trophy. We will be back same time, 8 o'clock next week for round number 7, where we won't have a reverse grid or anything this time. It will be normal qualifying that we usually have, so I'm certain it will be a very good pole position shootout when we get to that stage. Shame that we had Slow Seamus leave the lobby. I'm not certain what happened there. I hope everything is okay for him. But next week, like I said, round 7, we will be racing at Autopolis International. Brilliant circuit. It is indeed. But anyway, that's it for tonight. I hope you have a good evening, or a good morning, or wherever you may be, whatever time you may be watching this in the world. And I'll see you next week.